Good morning, everyone. Brian here again with BMK Retro Gaming. This morning I have for us the review of the Atari VCS 2600 original library game, Othello. Pardon me for just a minute. Sorry, almost forgot to give myself a little water or something to drink just in case. Can get a bit parched. Anyway, this one's kind of an interesting original library game. Now, the game was originally invented as a board game by Englishmen Lewis Waterman and John W. Mollett in 1883 under the name Reversi or Reversi, which was the original name. And it was picked up and became pretty popular at the time. Later on in 1971, Japanese businessman and minor inventor Goro Hasegawa, that's Hasegawa, created the version named Othello, which is kind of also the name of the old Shakespearean play. It's an old one about intrigue and stuff, and really interesting, but that he chose the name is, don't know his reasoning, but it makes kind of sense. As the whole play was about betrayal and all, and, well, in Othello, or Reversi, you're trying to outflank your opponent and reverse their pieces to dominate the entire board of the board game. Anyway, he released it in Japan in 1971 as a board game under the name Othello, and it started appearing here in America in 1975. As a matter of fact, my adoptive father and my adoptive grandfather on my mother's side both had one, and I'd play with them sometimes, though I, as a younger child, didn't have a very good understanding of it, and I'm still not good at the game. Anyway, the Atari VCS 2600 port made its debut in 1980. It appears as though they had licensed out the rights to use the name, or I'm not sure. And it was programmed by Ed Logg and Carol Shaw, developed by them. And Carol Shaw, as we know, would go on later to develop River Raid. And it was published by Atari Inc., released in 1980 as one of the original library games. As a matter of fact, it has the model number CX9639. It was a pretty early one. It's also another good example of how, this is a time when video game developers would try to take pretty much any game concept that was viable and make a video game version, which is basically a way of simulating the gameplay. Hey, so long as it's fairly faithful to the original, at least you don't have to have the entire board game in chips and all in pieces to set up and everything, so kind of simplifies things. Anyway, I had to write down some instructions here because, well, I don't have an instruction manual for mine. I got it secondhand at my local game exchange retailer for about $2.99 base price, and I believe it after sales tax about $3.20, so not bad. Anyway, there's a few things you need to know with the instructions. For one thing, your settings. Your left difficulty switch in A will put into setup mode, where you can set up any scenario and play through it, kind of practice, working out a problem, if you like. And in B is regular normal gameplay, while your right difficulty switch, in A position, black will move first, which is the way in tournament and any other regulation play for Othello or Reversi would technically be done. And it takes away your advantage. While you have an advantage if you set it for white, for B, where white moves first. And then the skill levels or game variations are: one is one player in easy mode, 2 is 1 player in intermediate difficulty, 3 is 1 player in expert difficulty, and 4 is 2 players. The game was okay reviewed back then, pretty faithful and all, and pretty good. Some did deride it as being a bit weak, where, the computer AI opponent at very best is maybe only about as good as a very good beginning player, but, you're not going to expect anything too spectacular. Others considered it to be fairly challenging and a very good rendition of the gameplay. I would have to agree that it's pretty good, although I stink at it. But that's me. Anyway, I have my loose cartridge here that I got there from the local game exchange retailer. Bit there. It's in pretty decent condition. It is missing the top label, and they put one that just said Othello on top here, but it was already loose, and I'm not big on those, so I just, after it was getting ready to come off anyway, I just took it off. I mean, no big deal. Still, the main cartridge label here is intact, and is pretty good. It says it's 1978 Atari Incorporated. Ironically enough, although it's technically 1980. I guess, yeah, it says label, program, and audio visual, so it must have been developed 78 and then released 80. Something like that. And it says to use with joystick controllers. Mine's in okay condition. We can see there's a little P or something here, obviously from the previous owner. Some people mind that. To me, it just kind of adds character, telling you, that, Pearson is what it says, if you look at it all the way across. So that kind of gives a little character that it was labeled by a previous owner before being sold secondhand. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much about this one. It's a pretty simple game, although, again, I do stink at these types of games on average. It does work, fortunately, with the Hyperkin Retron 77 emulation hardware clone console, as well as original hardware. And I've got my Retron 77 set up, so I'm going to toss in there, and we're going to take a look at the gameplay. Okay, so here we go with Othello for the Atari VCS 2600. Okay, we got gameplay variation 1, that's good, that's what I want. 1 in B, so we've got radio gameplay mode, and skill number 2, the right difficulty switch is set, so black will go first, and then I just press reset, and let's get moving. Oh, oops. Wrong thing. Here we go. Okay, again, it's all about trying to outflank your opponents, so... of course, not always easy or simple to do, but can be done. You gotta be kidding me. Controllers want to give me a little problem with wanting to move to the left. Let's see if that worked it out. Yep. Oh well, these things happen. One thing we can see here is that it has it in squares, which is the original board game would have used circular pieces. Don't consider that a huge problem or anything, but it is different. I'm outflanking him a bit here. The little marks, that are kind of have a four-corner square in there is basically your gameplay area, and you can play a little outside that. If you try to play somewhere that you're not supposed to try to, like, say, up here yet, it will buzz and let you know that you're not supposed to do that yet. So far, I've got a tiny lead on him, but not much, so let's see what I can do with it. It doesn't bother me much that it's in squares instead of circles. The Atari VCS 2600 was much better at drawing kind of more hard-line shapes, hard-edge shapes like squares, squares, triangles, rectangles, sometimes stars, whereas circular or purely conical shapes, you know, round shapes like a circle and all, it could do on a small scale, like say as a projectile or such, but even with that was not the most common thing with it, so gotta kind of take into account that this is just what it could do. It would have been tougher to do this all as circles. So far I'm a bit ahead of him, but not by a whole lot. Again, I tend to kind of stink at this type of gameplay, more or less. Ah, I got him 2 ways there. Again. You're not going to beat me that easy. It's not the type of gameplay I'm very, very good at, but again, given time, one can and does learn. For a 12, he's trying to get me pretty good there. Not having an easy time with it, though. You've got to watch for where you have spots where you're open, but he is not. The whole point is to outflank your opponent. Not entirely easy to do in some cases, but it can be done. It's like my best move is right about there. Whoa. I don't think so. Not gonna give me that easy. Not this time. One good thing to try to do is try to get corners and stuff like that. It makes it hard for him to find a way to, how you say, block you out or anything like that. Doing okay here for now. Here's my last move. Actually managed to beat him, 41-23. Huh. I do kind of stink at the game mostly, but managing to win one is always fun. Well, let's try it one more time and see what else I can do with him. Kind of cool there. So where do I go? That wouldn't work so well. Like this. Yeah, huh? Dum, 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 dum. Hmm. Uh-oh. Try and nail me some there, huh? Oh boy. And you got me on that one. Give it one more shot, see if I can't beat him for one more try. Not yet, eh? Hmm. Hmm. Gave me into kind of a pinch again. No, can't do that either. And there's the last one. That didn't beat me by as bad that time. Anyway, I think you guys have the idea with the gameplay by now. Okay, so that was Othello for the Atari VCS 2600, an original library game. It's pretty good if you like board games. Kind of quaint, common. It can be a bit frustrating, as you saw. I won the first game, but couldn't find my way to win the second two, so it will definitely challenge you for a bit. It's pretty fun, I mean, even though it can get frustrating and a bit challenging. And although the squares as opposed to circular pieces is different, it's what you'd probably expect with an Atari VCS 2600 game, so not bad at all, and I think a pretty good early original library game. Maybe not going to be the most thrilling, certainly not an arcade port of any sort, but still a perfectly fine, decent game, especially if you just want one that's a bit easygoing, but still challenging. Anyway, I do have a few recommendations and links for you guys. My preferred YouTubers, Pets' Gym 1, TAS Videos channel, Atari 2600 channel, Atari Man 71, who has it in with two other. It's a 3-game review video. You Really Play That, Atari Archive, which I don't know if I've actually shared anything from them before, so this might be a first. My friend and colleague Phil with his channel, The No Square Gamer, and High Retro Game Lord all have nice videos featuring this game. Let's see, that's... 8 recommendations for this one. For such a simple Atari VCS 2600 game that's basically that version of a board game, that's a good deal of people who reviewed this already, among just my preferred YouTubers alone. So that I'll tell you, it's one that's pretty well known and prominent, if not the best appreciated. Anyway, there's that. I will also leave a link to the Wikipedia article on the game for those who may care to read up on the game further. And also, keep your eyes peeled. You guys know me, no spoilers, but I will put up an announcement post here on YouTube, on Facebook, and Twitter for this next Sunday's upcoming ProBrew Prototype or Homebrew Review video. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Big shout out to my Atari 2600 Facebook group. Love you guys over there, and hopefully you'll be getting this before too long this morning. It's been a bit rainy here, so I'm not sure how that's going to affect upload time, but hopefully it won't take that long. Also, if you enjoy my channel's content, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and please don't hesitate to leave any questions, comments, or suggestions down in the comments section below. You guys take care, have a wonderful Wednesday, and hopefully I will see you all again back here on this coming Sunday, if not a bit before.